that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Hello and welcome into the first round of a very new, very brilliant series, the Weekend Warrior Summer Series, powered by Ray eSports. I am Charles Boshell. Alongside me, doing double duty today, Joshuah Wilkie, handling a little bit of commentary, but all the production work. And we're here at Road Atlanta for our first round. The Tomahawk itself, as we're in the Spec Racer Ford, and that is going to be important as we'll talk about this series a little bit later. But first, we got to get the Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there out of the way. Let's go ahead and give them a shout out. It is a day that I'm going to make somebody else do the cooking, and it's going to be a great day. And I want to shout out a Happy Father's Day to my dad and all the rest of the dads out there. And Josh, welcome in, and we're about to have some fun today, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely, and huge Happy Father's Day out there to my dad and everybody else's as well. Awesome day for some racing today, and to start our new summer series, Charles, which is going going to consist here of a few different types of machinery over a bunch of different tracks. So today we'll be racing the SRFs. We'll also this season be doing the Formula Vs, the FFs, which is the Formula Fords, and some MX5s as well out there. So not just this type of machinery. We've taken those 3 different leagues that we would usually do during the week and sort of consolidated everybody together to hopefully get a little bit of cross-pollination out there, a little bit of maybe some interest in some other vehicles and stuff too. And then come season 4, the plan is to get back to those series in their own days and in their own shows during the week. But this one starting out here at Road Atlanta in the SRFs. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting one. We got a pretty thick field here as well, full of some new drivers as well as a bunch of slow motion broadcasting and Weekend Warrior stalwarts.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the best and brightest from all 3 of our series, as Josh said. This is going to be a round robin top event here for the summer, as we do have a lot of what we call professional drivers, real life racers out there taking part in our Weekend Warrior series. And obviously the summer is the biggest part of the racing calendar. So as those guys take their breaks and go off and do the real life racing, we're going to have a lot on tap here. And as Josh said, Spec Racer Ford here at Road Atlanta starts off, and we will round robin between 4 cars. So if you're used to seeing the Formula Vs on Saturdays, they'll be coming up on the schedule. If you're used to watching our Sunday doubleheader with the Formula 4s and the Spec Racers 4s, both of those will be on the bill as well. And then, just for a twist, we're going to throw the MX5s in there because everybody loves racing the MX5. So why not? And it's going to bring a little bit of a different flavor to our racing here this season. And we do have some great names out there. Maurizio Nazelli, currently your pole sitter, 132.535. Jason Green, Adam Bradshaw Jr., your top 3. But you see the list as it's growing, and we're setting times. You've got stalwarts here in the Spec Racer like Nazelli, Marco Pinero, and Nate Schramm. You've got legends of the Formula V like Guido Marzucchi, Tortolo, Nick Tullo. You've got Michelle Lynn and Jim Brewster. Our admins are joining into the fray today as well, as we've got a whole eclectic mix here of cars with drivers with different skill sets, and I think that's going to make for some great racing. We do want to shout out racevoice.com as the sponsor for today's event, as well as the other 2 Spec Racer races we'll have this season. So to pick your track, choose your call outs you want to hear, and then hit go on track to record your session with live voice coaching. It is racing at the speed of voice. It is racevoice.com. We thank them very, very much for their sponsorship for these 3 rounds. We do have other sponsorships that we've already got put in place for the Formula Vs. It is our sponsor group with Andrew Love, Michelle Lynn, Jim Brewster sponsoring those rounds. And we still have some open spots available. I'm surprised we haven't got sponsorship for that MX5 and the Formula Fords, but there we go. You've got 6 opportunities to get out there, get your name out there to the world here, and we're going to have some really good racing to go with it. And we'll absolutely do everything we can to get you some really good attention to whatever it is you want to sponsor. So thanks to racevoice.com for the sponsorship here for the Spec Racers as we continue with qualifying. Just about 5 minutes left to go, and once again you see Naselli, now Marco Pinero, Joaquin Osbeck. So some Spec 2 drivers up there toward the top 5, as well as our master stalwarts, Jorg Monty, Rich Meesters, Brad Cathcart, just running around there in the second half of the top 10 and just outside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just while we were talking there, Marco Pinero popping one in just below Naselli, as well as Osbeck there from Spec 2 now in overall 3rd place. Jason Green just behind him. Then you're going to find Adam Bradshaw Jr., another Spec 2 driver. So some pace out there from some of those Spec 2 drivers for sure. Osbeck always fast. Same thing with Adam Bradshaw Jr. actually showing some real pace today there. And as we know here, maybe we'll jump on board quickly with Jorg Monty. You're going to see just how much of a draft there is at this track and how much it matters here in an SRF. And during a qualifying session, this is what you want. You want to find someone like Phil Berry in front of you who's going to be predictable here and allow you to get a bit of a draft from him. So he's most likely going to stay to the outside here. He's going to let Jorgmani by, and that's going to actually allow Jorgmani, maybe to pull 2 or 3 tenths that he wouldn't usually have been able to get. Sometimes you can even gain over a second, depending on the track and just how well and efficiently you can get that draft there. And now, generally what you'll do is maybe, return that favor to Phil Berry as well on this next lap. Try to stay fast, try to stay consistent in front of him, and give him a little draft too. And if that goes piff-paff back and forth the way at least that you envision it, it works out really well. Sometimes, not so much. You end up getting in a bit of a scrap with the person out there. It doesn't work out. You get blocked. You can have a really bad qualifying in these SRFs, and because it really does all come down to being able to get that draft. The guy that's going to get that draft and be able to maximize it the best is most likely going to have the fastest lap time up at the front there, unless, of course, you are every once in a while. I think I've seen the likes of, I think it was Kane, came in once and without a draft was able to beat everybody. I think that's the only time I've ever seen it happen before. Maybe the likes of a Naselli or Panero. But on a draft-heavy track like this, you've got to toe up behind somebody. You've got to try to basically steal a little bit of a draft off someone during qualifying so you can move yourself up. And I think that's what we're seeing with some of these drivers up front.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And we didn't get a since we were using RaceVoice.com as our sponsor today, and we don't really have a driver to really push. Let's go to the boss, Stevie Ray. He's about to start this lap, and let's give him a shout. And he's the guy that puts all this together, does all the hard work as he runs his way down into turn 1 here. Fast turn. You got to be very careful on the throttle as we work our way up the hill, then into this first chicane. This is 2, and now into 3. As you see that, you got to be careful not to clip too much of that inside on the right side as we work our way down through 4 into the S as we go. And this is the first real danger point here as we run into turn 5. You got the curb on the inside, you got all the curb and the gravel on the outside. Real easy to lose the car there as we make our run down here into the little short chute into turn 6. Once again, another one of those where you just kind of feather the throttle through, try and carry as much speed as you can till you get to the hard braking here at turn 7. And this is the corner you want to get really done well as you get this run out of turn 7 down the long back straight. This is where the drafting is going to get done here, as this is the prominent feature here at Road Atlanta, this long back straight, the drag strip, as Stevie's going to get a good run down through here. I don't see any cars towing around him, so we're in a good spot here, and then we're going to make the run over the crest down into turn 10A and B. Another little source of caution there, is you got to get those right as well. Really easy to get off tracks and slowdowns. You get too far on the outside curbs, and you're going to end up losing the car, and he's going to take it into the pits. But you just had the last corner, turn 12. That takes you back to the start-finish line. So we'll call that a good lap there by our race director and team and owner and chief cook and bottle washer Stevie Ray.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty tight lap there from Stevie Ray. That was a good one. Good lines he showed us through there for sure. And one of the hardest ones to get here for me. After you get sort of that first, let's call it the first phase of the course there, where you have to get that blind turn in and the S's down the hill, and then what I like to call the rodeo section, where you got to take a bunch of curb and then take a bunch of exit curb, and you're just rodeoing the car through that section. If you're really trying to optimize your lap, you're hop, skipping, and jumping through there, and there's a definite clench factor happening. And then the lap starts to slow down a little, and you start to think a little bit more. You have a little bit more time to think about those corners, that hairpin, that double apex hairpin that we're approaching here now through what I like to call the rodeo section right through here. You can see taking this big curb, and there's a bunch of dirt out there. And now we're coming into this double apex. You have to get this double apex absolutely perfect, and you have to get on the gas exactly right and as early as you possibly can, because it is the key to this lap. And then, of course, you have all this time to think about 10A and 10B, and he's actually going to lose it right there on exit. That's really easy to do. You're so concentrated on getting on that gas early that if your car's just a little bit out of step or a little bit out of place, really easy to do. But just to finish the thought there, then coming down into 10A and 10B, you have a bit of time to think about it, and it becomes maybe I don't know, maybe not quite as natural anymore to just flow into the corner. And you have to get those ones right as well. It's so easy to overcharge or underdo 10A and 10B and then sort of ruin all the time that you may have made down the back straight. So very important section of the track. Lots of thinking to do on the second half.
Yeah, it's real easy to get caught up in a battle through 10A and B, and that's what we're going to watch out for today. I've seen 6 Formula 4s go in a line coming through here in one race, and 5 of them didn't make it through the corners. Only 1 survived, so that is a very, very touchy point there. But you're right, and that's what you saw there coming out of 7. Is that's the kind of the one pitfall there. If you take too much of that curb on the outside, has a tendency to sling the car around, and so you have to be very, very careful when you're back on throttle. As we're finishing up qualifying, Naselli still on pole, 132.23. Actually has increased his margin ever so slightly there over Pinero. Guido Marzucchi, the Formula V legend, and as well as one of our broadcast
been in the booth for too long.
I know he's coming up there. He may start skipping out on these Sunday races here and get out on the track when we do the spec racer. Currently sitting in 3rd. Great lap by Guido. Normally drives the Formula V.
Absolutely.
But he's out there doing a great job, and that's one of the things that we're going to watch. You would think that the spec racer regulars are going to have a little bit of an advantage, but we got some very, very fast drivers here in the other disciplines, and I think that's going to translate over. I think especially the V. I think just because of the draft, I think the draft is similar between the V and the spec racer, and it's going to give those drivers a little bit of a chance to utilize it in a bigger bodied car where they can race a little tighter together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right there for sure. It's going to be interesting to see, again, SRF is a sort of a unique way to drive, very similar to FV, but, there's a lot of pushing and stuff involved and a lot more rubbing panels and so on. And just in those final minutes as well, just mentioning, you did see Naselli and Pinero kind of back and forth for first place there. So it's tight up at the front. And, of course, Guido Marzucchi popping an awesome lap in there. Definitely, he's dangerous outside of the booth apparently there in the SRS. But here's our grid for us, Charles. Maybe I'll start her off with Mauricio Naselli in first place there for our first Summer Series race. Then we're going to have Marco Pinero in second place from Alex Kart Racing Raptor. In third, we'll have Guido Marzucchi. In fourth, Nathaniel Schramm, our first S2 driver of Johan Asbeck, is going to be in fifth place. In sixth, Jason Green. Seventh, Adam Bradshaw Jr. Then we have Jorg Mani in eighth, our first Masters driver. Then Scott Russell, and then Adrian Borowski, I believe a new driver there. Charles, I'll let you continue on here.
Yeah, it looks like it as Tortolo is going to start in P11. Outside of that will be Rich Meesters in 12th as we scroll down to the next page. And we've got plenty of time. Looks like we got a full pace lap. So Brad Cathcart will start in 13th. Outside of row 7 will be Adam Bradshaw in 14th. Dan Wood starts in 15th. Jason Chen, I think those are two of our Formula Ford racers, starts in 16th. Josh Justice 17th. Jim Brewster in 18th. Chris Montgomery starts 19th. Tom Gradwell starting in 20th. 21st will be Stevie Ray. Steve Saunders starts in 22nd. Ricardo Wernick starts in 23rd. Hugh Simpkins will start in P24. As we scroll down to the next page, still more to go. Phil Berry starts in 25th. Michelle Lynn from the Formula B starts in 26th. Jeff Jacobson 27th. Chris Thorpe starts in 28th. Kurt Nunez starts in 29th. Dustin Diaz starts in 30th. Paul Jackson 31st. JG1 Jason Grider starts in 32nd. Jeff Wupker 33rd. Darren Kuhn starts in 34th. Dennis Fury at 35th. Charlie Vaccaro 36th. Nick Tello shotgun the field there in 37th. I do not see Scott Russell is starting from the pits. Nick Tello I do not see on the grid, so he may have disconnected already. So we'll see if he makes it back in time or not. But 37 cars potentially here for today's race, and that is just a great grid, and that's going to bring us a lot of action. Ron Mons be jealous of what we're about to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, got a big shout out to Ron Mons there, our usual SRF announcer there, taking a little break from the Summer Series here. Busy man out there. Doing all the commentating all over the interweb. Does an excellent job. As always, we love having him here at SMB, but loving to see this big field of SRFs back, making me jealous, Charles. I've been out of the cockpit here for Wow, just over a month now. I haven't really touched my sim rig at all, and I can tell you I am jonesing pretty hard to get back in there. I may actually have to, after today's race there, just do a little bit of acclimatizing myself to the rig again here before, I believe, I might actually join AMS this season. I think I'm going to get out there and race in one of our other series here on SMB, which of course we have many coming your way. American Muscle Series coming back, XSLR coming back, SKR Sim Night Racing starting up pretty soon, some GT3 stuff, among many other things here coming to you very soon on Slow Motion Broadcasting. But that is a beautiful sight right there, a bunch of lined up SRFs ready to start us off on round one of the Ray Esports Summer Series here, a new undertaking for the Weekend Warriors, and I'm pretty excited about it here. I haven't been able to be on cameras for an SRF race in a long time, Charles, but here we go.
Here we go as we come around the final corner. Good jump by Nazelli there to get this race underway. Pinero in second, Marzuki battling with Schramm for third place, and I believe that's going to be Marzuki getting that spot as we head our way down into turn one. 4 wide in the back there, coming into turn one. Saw one car off the track just a little bit. Think he's going to be able to get that rejoin there as we're underway here. And Nazelli off to a great start here. Pinero starting to track him down just a little bit. It looks like we're lined up as everybody's getting themselves sorted out here. Still a couple 2 wide running down through the S's there. That is Josh Justice in the 280 car of looking for Dan Woods. So a couple of drivers there. Here we go in through turn 5 as we see Stevie Ray, I believe, on the outside. That might have been Jacobson on the inside as we run our way out of 5 down into 6. So good start by everybody. We had a couple of little quick issues, but no big catastrophes here as we get this race underway.
Yeah, a little side-by-side racing in some kind of awkward spots there down the S's, but everybody playing ball pretty well here so far. A little bit of side-by-side here down the straightaway as well, and of course, this straightaway is just going to be contention the whole entire race here. It's going to be back and forth, and it's really how you play that ebb and flow and how well you let your competitors kind of get by you and then retake those positions. That's going to matter here as Jorg Mani and the 205 are going to go side by side. The 13 on the inside as well, going to win out. Jorg Mani maybe thinking a little better of that one and deciding to back out of it. Not take the damage, not take the spin, as we're getting some more side-by-side here with, I believe that's Joshua Justice, Jim Brewster, Adam Bradshaw, and I think Rich Meesters just out front, Dan Wood just behind. So you're getting Josh Justice actually winning out on that battle with the 280 from Daniel Wood that we saw earlier in that lap. Now side-by-side through T1 with Bradshaw. Not that is a clench factor of about 9 or 10 going through there like that, and they're going to continue on side by side. That's never going to work out through that whole section there. Somebody has to give, and it was Joshua Justice that time.
Yeah, that 25 car is Jason Chin. We'll make sure his name gets mentioned as well as he's in that battle. As you see Justice following that behind Jim Brewster there and in front of Dan Wood. So obviously got off line, and it's very difficult with this many cars on the track. Once you're out of line, it's going to be real easy to drop back through the field. But as you can see with our timing tower, top 6 together, a little bit of a gap there between Jason Green and Borowski, as he is about 2.5 seconds back, and then another long train there. And you're going to see these trains forming. They'll kind of resize themselves as we go. Whoever's in front at the start of the back straight will not be in front at the end of the back straight. You can almost guarantee it, as Pinero currently has the lead, and Nazelli is content to just kind of ride behind him. So we may be already seeing a little bit of fuel saving going on there at the top of the grid. As I was, with the 905, a little loose there, and catches Chin there as they work their way through 10th A and B. I think as Adam Bradshaw as well involved in that. So you got 3 cars there working their way through 10, and that just couldn't work out that math, as all 3 of those cars are going to get some damage and going to have to either ride that or come into the pits for an early stop. 40-minute race day, 1 pit stop on offer, so you will have to come in. You won't have enough fuel to make it, and so you will be coming in for a stop at some point in time today, as the gaps have started changes. As now Monty, we're going to get a replay there, and you see the 905 of Cathcart involved in that as well, along with Chin and Adam Bradshaw, as everybody gets himself reset and back out. Looks like Chin's car is not in the greatest of shape there, as we were working our way through. Now we're on board here. This is Joaquin Osbeck, currently in 5th place. in that front group just ahead of Jason Green, just behind Nate Schramm as they work their way down the backstretch again for the next time. And it looks like I said, once again, looks like that we're kind of in that fuel save mode at this front group. They've got a nice 4-second gap back to Jorg Monty, who is running in 7th. The group that he is in is starting to break up just a little bit. So we'll see if that closes back down as those cars get together, or see if they've closed back down and group back up. But as for now, top 6, nose to tail there as they work their way in through 11.
Yeah, pretty typical stuff here early on in the SRF race, trying to figure out exactly where it is you fit in, try to find a draft buddy, and then you're generally going to break off into packs like this. And this lead pack here now is going to do its very best to try to run away from the other packs. And basically the way you do that is by being as efficient as possible and not fighting each other too much. If you get into fights, that's what you'll see kind of happening in the back of the field, where they just don't quite get being able to mesh around quite as good as maybe the guys do up at the front. And it's not an easy prospect, Charles. Even when you're out there trying to do your very best and be as calculated as you possibly can, it's really easy to make a mistake. It's really easy to make a pass when maybe it shouldn't have, you shouldn't have, or push someone a little bit awkwardly, or brake a little bit early, and it can throw the entire pack off. So it is something that honestly takes a lot of experience up front. I've been up front a few times in these races, and it gets stressful, man. You're up there with a bunch of guys that are really fast, and I think sometimes what it is really is that you're sort of at the top of your skill level, and you're going as hard as you possibly can, not realizing that people like Mauricio Naselli are just kind of hanging out up there. They're not really, they're used to it, and it takes time to get used to it. It takes time to get used to that, and the only way you can do that is by getting in the pack and racing up front. And it's one of those double-edged sword things here. We're seeing Stevie Ray. It's like he's fighting for everything it's worth there with a little bit of damage on the front end of the car. Not going to matter too much in a big draft pack like that, but just in front of him, I believe that is, that's going to be Hugh Simpkins, I believe, just in front of that pack, and Daniel Elwood's going to get spun. Looks like he had a little bit of help there, Charles. We'll have to go back and have a look at that, but Montgomery getting caught up as well here. We're just on screen now, rejoining.
Yep, and that was right around the area where Stevie Ray was. You see him right in front of Montgomery. You see, I think that's Scott Russell there on the outside in the 22 car as the 227 of Dustin Diaz moves to the inside. Got a good run there through the front stretch. And another
big
car
one up front
in the front with a spin. Is that Furia? Might have been. Trying to look at that orange and white paint. I think that might have been who that was. As I was going to kind of mention that Chris Thorpe has already been in the pits. Jeff Jacobson in the pits now. Jason Grider in the pits as well. Scott Russell has already been in the pits. So there's been some damage we haven't seen out there that's been occurring. And you see 3 wide just not going to work going down into turn 10A. And it's just not going to work. And there was, not much anybody could have done there. Once that started happening, it was just kind of a foregone conclusion as those cars went in and just started contacting each other, and that was pretty much it. So we're going to get another look here of the 240 of Jeff Jacobson heading his way down into turn 1. Oh, and just
hardware failure.
Yeah, it's either hardware failure or frustration. We've seen that from Jeff before, where he just decides that that's enough, and he's done. But I will not say that's exactly what happened. But yeah, just a straight line, because hardware failure is the other option there. Is he's hit the brakes and the car just didn't turn, and I don't know where he went. As we see the battle here, that is Kurt Nunez in front of Scott Russell there, and had that one wrong earlier. Scott Russell in the 22 Miller High Life car, the throwback IndyCar livery there, I think maybe Bobby Rahal. As we see Furia there on the inside, and just takes it really deep, and that's on the curb on the inside, kicks him to the outside.
A little confusion maybe.
And that's contact there with Montgomery, I believe, or is that the 909 of Gradwell?
It was Tom Gradwell in Montgomery. Yeah, that's correct.
So that is Tom Gradwell. Saw Paul Jackson go by. See Phil Berry there in the Big Bird machine, and just see it as he gets in there. Wrong. That's just not ever going to work there. That's just a really, I would say. Not the best move there going down into turn 1 with that angle, narrow angle going in. Probably usually means a wide angle going out unless you're slowing way down. and you see it in the car, the rear end letting go as well.
Yeah,
and
bummer.
there's just nothing that can be done at that point. So just I think even Dennis was just along for the ride there. As we're back up, kind of looking back up toward the front there, as now Tortello is in the front of this group as one of our Formula V specialists there, has jumped up to P7 over Borowski. They're running in the 9-0 car there in the Cookie Monster. They were good to see the Cookie Monster back out on the track.
Confused me for a minute.
You know, we missed him since Phil Berry switched over to Big Bird. So it's good to see the old blue Cookie Monster back out there. And Tor, obviously champion, past champion of the Formula V series, and also a Formula V racer in real life. So young kid, lots and lots of talent. And that's starting to show a little bit here as he's, I think he's got these SRFs figured out, and now he's moving up the list as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A little battle going on here mid-pack with, I believe, we got some more cars off again. So still carnage in that area. Always in that area up there. You really do have to get kind of things sorted out before you get to T1, and you really, you know, testing people into T1 and testing people through this down section and into the blind corner is just an incredibly low percentage move. Unless it's the last lap of the race or the last championship and you're fighting for a position that you need, it's almost always going to end up with somebody going off the road or losing a bunch of time. It just never really works. It's usually better to wait. Unless, of course, sometimes, you know, you can smell some blood in the water, somebody makes a mistake, and you're just alongside them, and you just go for it, and that's what it is. And it happens every once in a while, and that's just the way it is. But back in the mid-pack here, Stevie Ray still fighting with that damage on the front end there. Not an easy prospect. That will slow your car down a whole bunch, a lot more than it looks like. And it's frustrating, but as long as you can stay behind somebody, you know, you can kind of keep in the draft here, and I think that's what he's trying to do. Is he's going to try to fight now with Paul Jackson on the inside into 10A, 10B here. He's going to get that one done. A little bit of a nudge. Michelle Lynn doing her best here to just stay alive by the looks of it, being attacked by a bunch of different cars. Very aggressive driving around her, and she's doing a really good job here of just kind of staying clean. So, and then that's going to pay off by the end of the race. Watch.
Yeah, absolutely. As Michelle has doing a great job there in a hornet's nest of cars at this point, as she's on the outside, going to have to give up a little bit there as the cars get a better run there. And you see Scott Russell making the move down there. Contact there with Paul Jackson, and that was just another incidental thing. Part of that chicane there, and now Russell will be probably towing back to the pits, I'm going to imagine. We'll kind of keep an eye on him there. But I think the earlier incident we kind of caught the end of might have been Wernick and Hugh Simpkins, who has dropped down the order as well. But you see there with the, just that curb just kicked the Paul Jackson's car over to the right and right into the side of Scott Russell. Absolutely nothing that could have been done there to prevent that. As we start to have a little break now. We've got a little break in the front group as it's separated into two. We've got Panero, Naselli, and Tram. The top three, and then we've got a gap there with Ozbek running in P4 along with Jason Green and Guido Marzucchi. There is your next three. As you see, the gap has started to grow a little bit. It's up to 1.8 seconds, and for these guys in this little second group of three, they're hoping that those guys up front decide to do a little racing and battling through some corners that'll help them close that gap. But as of right now, as we see Ozbek sideways coming through three there, manages to catch the car, but that's not going to help the prospects for him and the cars behind as they drop another 0.8 of a second down to the front group there, as now that gap is up to 2.6 and continuing to grow. So maybe Ozbek, we'll see how long he decides he wants to stay as the leader of this group. If he's willing to let one of these other two cars maybe take over and guide him around the track. But it's a lot of pressure there, knowing that you're losing time to that front three and you're trying to facilitate these guys. And I think Jason Green said, I think I need to get up here and lead this little group. And so that's what he's done, moved over to the left side as Ozbek moves to the right. I think you hear Guido feathering the throttle a little bit there, still saving a little bit of fuel down the back stretch as he can. With that gap now growing to 3 seconds, so this group still losing some time as now Jason Green takes over the fourth spot and the leader of the second three car pack. as we're looking behind. The gap starting to close a little bit as now Borowski back in P7 has got that gap down to 4.4, and he's got Adam Bradshaw Jr. just behind 1.2 seconds back. So he's kind of separated himself a little bit from his running partners there. As Bradshaw Jr., Jorg Monty, Tortolo are sitting in that pack of 4. And then a little further back, we've got Rich Meesters running in 11th with Josh Justice and Jim Brewster in tow. And then a little bit further back as well, as we see Dan Wood now coming in for his pit stop. He's already been in it. We see Steve Saunders coming in as well as they come in for their stop. See the damage on the front of Saunders' car. So he's been in the wars. He's been in that Hornet's nest as well. We got Brad Cathcart making his stop as well. The Southern Cross there coming in for his stop. And we're at a good point here at 15-minute mark of the race. Obviously very easy to make it to the end of the race with this fuel stop, and gives these drivers a chance to use their fast repair and get back on the track. As we're back to the front of the grid here, and we see Panero looking to lead once again. Oh, 3 wide.
Oh, and they're going to go 3 wide. Nathaniel Schramm there. They're going to go right up the middle.
Yeah,
Very
got
nice.
a good run there by Schramm, and able to take over that as Panero and both Panero and Naselli both said, okay, you want to lead? We'll let you go up there and lead. We'll just kind of tuck in behind. And so now Schramm, our race leader.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one there. Massive run for the 26 up through the middle, and they did the right thing and just let them through. And that's exactly what you want to do. If you're going to get a run like that, then you might as well use it. That's bringing everybody's lap time up. It's kind of the same thing we saw happening just behind here with Guido Marzucci and with Jason Green as well. You could hear Guido breathing on the throttle there, just not testing the front group. They've already had their draft done. There's no point in getting side by side that late before the brakes. All you're going to do is put pressure on somebody and potentially make them go slower through the corner. And that's exactly what you don't want to do at this point. You want to try to keep this group going as fast as they can. The places don't matter until the end of the race, not 16 minutes in. So you want to make sure that you kind of stay with this pack. You know, if they play their cards right, they're still not far enough away up front that they could actually attack this front group. All they have to do is make a little mistake, or even if they just really start playing a good draft train, they could pretty easily catch up to that front group and be fighting for podium positions again. That all ends if you fight through maybe even 3 or 4 corners in a row. That's it. It's over. You'll have lost 10 seconds to the guys in front who aren't doing that, and that'll be it. And you see a lot of that happening as we go down our timing tower. You can see it. A lot more fighting happening with the around the Josh Justice, Jim Brewster, Jorg Monty, Phil Berry area of the track than there is up front. And you're going to see those lap times are going to reflect that as we're now getting through some of our pit stops here. Tortello taking about 16.5 seconds, going to be our second longest there. Stevie Ray with a 16.6. Maybe I can get up the overall pit time here as well. So 49.8, 51.3. So we're looking around the 48s-ish for a pretty fast pit stop, maybe 50 something on the high end. So we'll keep an eye on those for the race. Something I always like to keep an eye on here is the pit stops. They do matter, obviously, a lot in the SRF. You can lose, when you're in a pack like this and you're talking about tenths, if you lose 2 seconds in the pit, well, now you're not in that draft train anymore, and you can end up on an island by yourself and completely destroy your whole race. I know from experience, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As Jorg Monty in the pits now, but we, as you said, Tolo Bradshaw Jr., Rich Meesters, Steve Saunders, Dan Wood, Stevie Ray, Chris Montgomery, Jason Chin, Jeff Wupker have all pitted. So they've got their stops done. As we see Jorg Monty in the pits now, he'll be coming out here very shortly. And, we'll throw this in as some of the drivers who are not familiar with the spec racer may be at a little bit of a disadvantage, not knowing how to do the fueling for these cars, not knowing, what the proper, what the proper fueling is going to be. So we may see some longer than normal pit stops.
No limiter either.
Some drivers that are quite fast. So we'll see as Gradwell and Barry there working together there. I think they came in the same lap and came out at the same time, and so now they're going to 2-man this, see if they can pull a gap. As we see a car that might be Cathcart just ahead of them, or maybe not. That may be Jim Brewster up ahead of them actually, as they're up there trying to track him down. Obviously, the more cars you can stack together, the faster you're going to go as a group, as Borowski now in the pits, coming from P7. So he's going to, succeed that spot and allow the rest of the cars to keep racing, as the gap now between the top 3 and the second 3 are 4.2 seconds. And we're seeing some cars starting to come together there, as we see now the 205 of Adam Bradshaw Jr. in front of that's Jason Chin. Rich Meester's there coming through 10A and B, over through under the Fox Factory Bridge there, to come down to complete yet another lap there. So they're having themselves quite a run, and we see Furia just ahead of them, who's managed to hang on to the lead lap, even though he's had a couple of issues during the race. He's managed to hang in there, currently running in 19th. So still on the lead lap, still has the opportunity to do something there, as has yet to pit. So we've got some cars behind them already made their stops. So they'll be dropping him a couple of positions before he comes in, as we see Steve Saunders there looking to the inside there of the car he was battling, which I believe was Dan Wood. Yep, indeed, as you see that they're coming their way down in through the S's once again. And the race continues on as more pit stops. Now Ozbek coming in from P6, so that second group dropping a driver as he comes in for his stop. And we'll see how the rest of this goes as we hit just past the halfway point here, with Naselli, Schramm, Panero, your top 3, Green, Marzuki in 4th and 5th. And you got to kind of wonder who's going to pull the trigger up there at the front first, if they're going to wait to the very, very last minute to come in for their stop.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll just go on board here with Ozbek for that pit stop. No pit speed limiters in these cars, so you do have to feather that brake and gas as you're coming down the pit lane. It make things a little bit more difficult to not mess your pit stop up. We'll watch him on his exit here. Make sure we don't cut any lines or anything, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty clean one there for Ozbek. 16.2, not the fastest, not the slowest. Let's see his overall time here, how well he did through, and that's going to be a 50, so it's kind of on the high end there, so not the bestest pit stop in the whole world, but we'll see how he ends up funneling out. But pit stops, man, are a really important thing, in this league. And you made a good point there earlier that we do have some new drivers here with us, and I'm sure we've all made pit stops in iRacing before, but pit stops in SRF are a little bit more difficult than maybe some other cars, because you don't have that because you don't have the pit speed limiter, and because they're so light and touchy, and I just find that they're a little difficult, as well as the fueling is a little bit difficult in these things too. You're not able to get exactly the amount that you want in, so you kind of have to map a button that you have to cut the fuel off with, or you end up putting too much in because it kind of globs it in big lumps instead of just throwing it in one by one, which can really make things a little bit more difficult as well in the pit stop. It just makes it basically, the clench factor goes way up as soon as it's pit stop time, and you just want to kind of get it over with and get out there again, so you can get back with your group and drive around here, as we're still watching Adam Bradshaw Jr., Tor Tullo, and I believe that's Rich Meester's just behind. They've caught up now to Dennis Furia in the front, who was on a bit of a comeback tour after that incident in the beginning. Looks like he has some speed today, but not necessarily able to use it as much as he would like to. Up front, though, Naselli still leading from Nathaniel Stram, from Marco Panero, from now Jason Green, starting to try to join that group. We'll see if he can make it up there, but it's going to be a hard one with these three drivers up front, because we do know they're very good at optimizing pack driving, these three drivers. Although, and I know you've done more of these races than me, but I've watched a few of them back. I've watched these three guys completely throw that to the wind and start battling just out of nowhere, too, every once in a while. And it looks like they're just like, you know what, I'm kind of bored. Let's battle. And they have some fun. So who knows what'll happen between now and then. There's still quite a bit of time to go. Just under half actually, as we're going to come into the pit now. So we'll watch this kind of intently here too, Charles, and see exactly how this plays out.
Yeah, so Naselli, Panero come into the pits. Nate Schramm stays out. He's out by himself, and that's going to cost him some time. Obviously, not anybody to draft with, so he's going to lose quite a bit of time running out there by himself. That's going to hurt him. So I would expect to see Nate come in the next lap. And hello to all the Schrammers in the chat. If there are any out there today, and there usually are when Nate's on the track. So we'll say hello to you as well, as we'll keep an eye on this as their pit stops are going on. I do have a couple others, Phil Berry, Michelle Lynn, Curtin Nunez in there as well. And we didn't talk about this as we mentioned the pit stops, but not the easiest pit entry here at Road Atlanta. It's a little touchy. Yep. You have to be very careful not to, as we see Paul Jackson slotting in between those as he's on his run, and see if he'll give way and let Pinero through, or if he's going to make Pinero work for it as we work our way down through the S's here. And it kind of looks like he's going to make Pinero work for it as we work our way through turn 5. And I think Pinero should get a good run here and make this pass, probably going down into 6 as he's going to look to the inside here. Got to, use a little bit of that draft from the car in front as he's going to move smartly to the inside there. And as Paul Jackson hangs on the outside, is going to drop back and slot in behind. And that's not a bad place to be. You got two very fast cars. Tuck in behind them, use them as a pull rope, and let them take you around as far as you can. Schramm stays out yet again. Mark Green, Marzuki come in for their pit stop. So Nate is hanging on out there by himself, 33.26 the last lap. So we'll see how that's going to calculate when those other two cars get around over the next lap or two there, as we see our third and fourth place, or second and third place runners come in, and Josh Justice drives through. He's going to stay out for at least another lap. Obviously not in the lead battle. I think I saw Marzuki drop back, had to reverse, missed his box. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Hopefully not too much, as he's going to want to be in the draft of somebody when he comes back out. So here we see Green leaving, and how much longer is it going to be for Marzuki? It's a pretty significant difference there as they come out. 47.7 for Naselli Pinero, 48.4 for Green, 54 for Guido, as he is going to lose a couple of seconds there as we see Jim Brewster coming out of the pits for his stop. So we have got about 4 cars left out there yet to pit. That is Nate Schramm, Josh Justice, Tom Gradwell, and Paul Jackson, your final 4 to come in. See a couple of black flags pop up there. Charlie Vaccaro, Kurt Nunez. That's generally indicative of either incident points, which is possible, or maybe some kind of speeding penalty on pit entry or exit. So we'll see. But either way, there's going to be a drive-through penalty for those guys. They'll have to come back in and serve that penalty, and that's going to hurt their chances of finishing where they're currently running there. So we see Schramm now coming in for his pit stop. The long, lonely run down the pit lane at about 40 miles per hour as Schramm finally gets down to the end here, just a couple of boxes from the end of the pit road, and his stop has started. Justice and Gradwell in as well, as we're at the 27-minute mark of the race.
Yeah, and we're going to have all eyes on Nathaniel Schramm now here to see how quickly he can get out of this box. It looks like he may actually be able to cut in front of them. They were fighting a little bit behind him, and I think he is actually going to get out in front of Naselli and Pinero by a pretty good distance there as well. So well done for Nathaniel Schramm, cutting that pit stop time down to 12.2 seconds. That does give me a little bit of pause for his fuel, but knowing Nathaniel Schramm, he knows what he's doing out there, and I would imagine even if he did underfuel just a little bit, he's probably got that within margin, at least to the point now where he can be in front and maybe be able to play with that a little bit. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be able to stay out front here for this entire the entire rest of the race. They're probably going to catch up to him, but he does have track position now and a bit of a lighter car, and that is going to make a difference for sure. So we'll keep an eye on this, but a bit of a masterclass there from Nathaniel Schramm for that undercut. Good job.
Yep, great job with the undercut. 2.5 seconds gain on pit road. So great bit of driving by Nate Schramm, and I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Push begins.
I think we have a Thompson Trophy candidate on the board here. Unfortunately for Nate Schramm, I think it's going to be him. Here's the deal. He's out to the lead by 1.8. These two cars running together will start to close that gap, even though they're all running about the same pace, as they're going to come around, and they'll probably end up tracking him down well before the finish. So now his job is going to be, do I try and stay out front and battle, or do I get tucked behind? As we see, that's Jason Chin there running wide. coming out of 10B into 11. I think he managed to get that righted. But yeah, it's going to be up to Schramm to say. I think what we'll see is him fall to the back. He'll let those guys go through. He'll tuck back in, save as much fuel as he can till the end of the race, and then battle on the last lap. That's kind of my prediction. The question is he going to be able to get to the last lap in order to be able to get there? And that's something we will find out here in about 10 minutes time, as we got a nice battle going on here. Tortolo in the number 90. Running in ninth, he's got Rich Meester's Josh Justice right behind. I believe that's Adam Bradshaw Jr. just ahead of him. So a nice little 4-car group here as these guys are still fighting. Nice little battle down as I'm watching between Hugh Simpkins and Brad Cathcart a little further back, but they're swapping positions as well. So we've still got some pretty nice little battles on the track. As we look at that second group, Jason Green has basically separated himself. He's in he's kind of in that donut as well. 8 seconds behind Naselli, about 3 seconds ahead of Ozbek, Borowski, and Guido Marzuki. Those cars running together. We'll see if they're able to close that gap down to Jason Green. Once again, I kind of expect that they will. I don't know if it'll be 3 seconds worth of gap, but I expect that will close. Ooh, a little bit of a touchy point there as Meesters gets a little hard on the brakes there, I think. Not expecting Tolo to make that kind of move, and a little bit of miscommunication between those two cars, but no contact made. As we look a little further down in the running order here, we've got Stevie Ray. That is the back of the 303 car. That's Steve Saunders having a nice little battle as well. Stevie running in 18th, having himself a good day there. As we still have, I believe, looking down at the list here, I believe we still have 31 of our cars still on the track. So still really, really nice field out there racing, and we've got them nice and stretched out here. So we've got some battles, but we got a lot of solo guys that are not really able to do a lot of racing right now. They're just kind of running laps until they find somebody else there. As we see the 26, the 16, and the 44 working their way around Nunez, I believe. So lapping Kurt Nunez down to a lap down, running in 30th position. So we get a nice battle here. This is Borowski, Marzuki, and Ozbek, and that's a nice battle in the top 10. Actually, just outside the battle for P5, as Borowski hangs on to that spot ahead of Ozbek and Marzuki. I think Guido again probably playing the patient game, the fuel saving game. There is he's just content to run in the back of these packs, as he hasn't really put a lot of moves on that I've seen today, as we see Justice moving to the inside of Meesters, and then ahead of Bradshaw Jr. So another nice battle there. As we
close one.
What did you see? I'm sorry.
Almost looked like they hit each other there. That was real close between the 205 and the 964 there. Almost made contact. They went actually 3 wide, I believe, under the bridge just before that. We didn't actually get to see it on film, but they went 3 wide under the bridge, and then came out and kind of fanned out a little bit and almost decided to do it again there down the straightaway. Almost made nose to tail contact, but were able to actually get away with that one there. It looks like Ashley Rennick now is going to have a black flag. Not exactly sure for what. Real easy around here to get that incident limit for sure. There's a lot of track limits to be tested around here now, as I believe Mauricio Naselli now taking a look around the inside actually of Nathaniel Schramm, going to make that one work. Schramm actually going to allow that to happen pretty easily there, and you can see the difference between the way that happened. I believe it was one pass earlier, forgetting who it was now, but they fought right down to the apex, and you could see the difference in speed through that midsection there. Nathaniel Schramm making sure that pass gets done before the apex, not fighting it, allowing that car to get there first, and then they all flow through at the same speed instead of trying to fight for that apex. But of course, depending on where you are in the track and what class you're in, maybe you're happy where you are, and all you want is that one position in front, and that's something we have to think about in the Weekend Warriors here as well, that there are 3 different classes out there, and they don't owe you anything. So if there's somebody in front of you who isn't in your class and you're looking for a position, well, too bad. They don't actually owe it to you, and you have to get around them on merit, and that's just the way that it is. We haven't run into too much of that here today, but out there in the car, I can tell you definitely are. You're wondering, if this person's going to let you by or if they're not or what have you. And it is a lot of that going on in the SRFs. Who's going to play ball, who's not going to play ball, and so on. And these guys up front, as you can see by their lap times in that 9-second gap, maybe even 12 or 13 seconds. And then if you go back to 8th, we're talking like 20-something seconds from the rest of the field. That's because they know how to drive in a pack together and not slow each other down as much as possible, even push each other sometimes to get away from those other packs, which is something that's just, you get too many brains involved, in the mid-pack, and you just can't do it. You get 9 people together. There's no way you're all going to be thinking the same thing at the same time.
That's absolutely correct. It's a great thought there, Josh, as we're still on board. About 5 minutes left to go in this race, so probably coming up to 3 laps, maybe 4 laps to go here. As we come down 3-wide battle there. Justice, Tullo, Adam Bradshaw Jr. Heading their way down into 10A and B. And you can see the battle going on as Bradshaw Jr. is going to look, and that was a late look there by Justice. But no contact as Bradshaw Jr. takes over the position. That's going to bring him up into P8, and we will go over, as we watch these guys battle here, we will go over our class as we go. Naselli Shrampanero, your top 3 and top 3 in Spec 1. O-Spec, Adam Bradshaw Jr. and Phil Berry, your top 3 in Spec 2, with O-Spec a very healthy margin over Adam Bradshaw Jr. and another healthy margin over Phil Berry there in 3rd. And then our Masters class, Rich Meesters, Jorg Monty, and Jim Brewster, your top 3 in the Masters, running 11th, 12th, and 14th. So a little bit of a gap there between Monty and Brewster, but still a pretty tight battle there between Meesters and Monty. So that one's not settled just yet. As well as it's not settled in our Spec 1 class. I think maybe Spec 2 might be, unless something happens, might be a foregone conclusion here for O-Spec, who's had a great race today. As we see another black flag pop up there. Did see that Warnick did come in and serve his, and I do believe that was for instant points. I saw him in the wars a little bit earlier, so he'd probably hit that 13X to get the drive-through. Obviously, 18X will be a disqualification. We hope that none of that doesn't happen today, but it is possible here at Road Atlanta, as you said, Josh. Really easy to collect off tracks here. There's a lot of spots, especially when you're racing side by side, that it's just really, really easy to grab that off track, especially to 10A and B, as we just saw there. You have to be very careful not to clip too much of that dirt on the inside and not run too wide on the exit. As then you see Jorg Monty right behind Rich Meesters, and there's your gap for the Masters class win there between Meesters and Monty, and they are tucked in behind the battle we've been watching a little bit earlier between Tullo, Adam Bradshaw Jr. and Josh Justice. So nice 5-car battle there. And as you said, it doesn't matter where you finish. As far as it doesn't matter what class you're in, your points are dictated by the overall finishing position. So a P6 for O-Spec is going to be really, really good points compared to Adam Bradshaw Jr. running in 9th.
Yeah, a few packs still running out there real close to each other. We'll keep an eye on those 2 closest packs together there, because they are definitely going to kick off here in the final minutes of this race now in the wee hours, as we're looking on maybe not 3 wide, but thinking about it there for a second, just trying to figure out exactly where they need to be to keep this momentum up. And that's going to stop really soon here. You'll start seeing these corner speeds probably not being quite as fast anymore, maybe fighting apex, maybe even trying to intimidate or slow down your competitor a little bit, maybe even put a door on them. Between now and the end of the race here. Now back with Tortello, Adam Bradshaw Jr., Rich Meesters, and Jorg Monty in this pack here, and they're still trying to figure it out as well. I feel like sparks are going to fly here as Monty goes up the inside. Pretty brave move there to fill that spot just behind the 205, and he's going to do that pretty handily there. I think he actually, didn't quite get that position from Meesters there, did he? But it was a close one. And you can see, we were on board with them there for a minute too, and you can kind of see the indecision that happens in the car in these SRFs. You have so many opportunities to pass when it's not necessarily a good idea in these cars, and you really do have to kind of pick your moment through T1 not being one of them usually, as we can see now. trying to kind of stay line astern here, a little bit more froggy behind here with, I believe that is Meisters and Mani looking for position here. And they are racing for the overall victory in Masters, right? So that is a pretty big one there between those two. And you're not going to want to give an inch basically on that one. Mani actually has the upper hand so far here with that draft in front of him. But back up front, Riso Naselli, Nathaniel Schramm, and Marco Panero still fighting for position here down the back straight into 10A, 10B. Who will get this cycle right on this final lap? It's anybody's game at this point, and it looks like they're going to try to fight side by side here. So here we go. It has kicked off. We are on our final lap, and it is anybody's game here, I think.
Yep, last lap coming up as we come down to Barney to get the white flag, as we still have that three-car battle, Naselli, Schramm, and Panero up front. They make their way down the front stretch, coming down into turn one. You see Schramm hanging on the outside there. He wants to slot back in and does so. And, we always talk about who's got the advantage. I think the third car in line at this track will have the advantage on the back stretch as we head our way in through three. Nice set of corners there. Did see Stevie Ray with a meatball flag and Tortello with a black flag. So Tortello is it incident limit as well. So not where you want to get it at the end of the race, and he's already came in. So he managed to get into the pits before the white flag, which is great because that's just a time penalty at the end. He can maybe make a position or two before we get to the checkers. As we run our way down into six, it is Naselli, it is Schramm, it is Panero working their way down into seven. Who's going to get the run out of seven? Looks pretty even as well as we go out down the back stretch. Good run by Schramm as he's starting to build up speed here as we head down the back stretch. We come up the hill, and Schramm now starting to take a little peek. Where's he going to go? He's going to move to the outside. Naselli going to stay to the inside, and he's going to get past. Panero's going to shoot the gap through the middle, and he's going to take it down. It's going to be too wide coming down. Panero coming down to the inside here into 10A, has got the whole shot there, gets it through. Schramm trying to fight back, coming out, and gets a run on the outside. And it's Panero and Schramm side by side coming down into turn 12, the final corner here, and it's side by side. It's going to be a photo finish. I believe it's going to be Marco Panero just edging out Nate Schramm with Naselli finishing in third. And now we've got our big four-car battle here between Anna Bradshaw Jr., Josh Justice, Rich Meisters, George Monty.
Big slide.
Justice gets a great run through 10A and B, and he's going to be able to pick up that and walk away basically for P8. So great run there by Josh Justice to get P8 as the rest of the cars start following through and crossing the start-finish line, and we'll give you a full race recap. But a great battle there between Panero and Schramm, 18 thousandths of a second the gap, and another 91 thousandths back to Naselli. So three cars within basically a little over a tenth of a second.
Yeah, pretty awesome last lap there. We'll definitely get you that last lap again, and a bit of a camera schmozzle there at the end, and kind of missed that last thing, but we'll definitely recap that quickly. But still a little bit of fighting here. I believe this is going to be Jeff Wubker and Dustin Diaz are fighting for position here still. Looks like perhaps Wubker's going to win this one out, and and I'm going to go wide over the line. Really easy to do on the final lap there for sure. But you know what? Let's go back to our checkered flag here quickly, and we'll go back to this last little battle here, and we'll follow it along from a little bit farther back and see exactly how this one finished off.
Yeah, and you see just Panero just take it to the inside, but Schramm just kept that run going on the outside. And here we go, side by side, and you see a little bump there just at the very end to push Schramm wide, but it was finger close there. I mean, it was inches, the gap between those two cars. At the end, a great bit of racing up at the front. We did have a little bit of a fuel mileage run there during the middle, but you see a little bit of sideways there by Bradshaw Jr. Kind of holds up the rest of that group. Josh Justice managed to sneak through on the outside, got a great run out of that chicane, and is going to end up in P8. So great run by Justice there over Bradshaw Jr., who did end up with P2 in Spec 2. So great bit of driving there. And we see down toward the bottom of our timing tower, we did see Wernick there with the white cross on the black background. That is a disqualification. Just got a couple of incidents on the last lap that ended his day a little bit early. But once again, great bit of driving up there by Pinero as we see the carnage starting to occur here on the back stretch. And you see maybe Schramm already taking a little bit of damage there, but you kind of wonder as and we get a little bit from the back there. So I think maybe Green may be out of fuel. He's getting
looks like it. Yeah, looks like Schramm was too. I think Schramm and Green both out of fuel. They're getting a little help from their competitors. They're gonna burn them down here at the end.
Yeah, so great job by Nate Schramm to calculate the fuel right on it once again, and able to get to the end of the race and only just, but able to battle on that last lap, and that was a good sign and a great bit of driving there by Schramm. As kind of thought that he might get the trophy this week, but did not. So no trophy winners, no Thompson Trophy winners, which is just is kind of a backhanded compliment, which just means that you miscalculated your fuel once again and you didn't have enough to finish. So we like handing those out when they happen, as we do it out of love, not out of hate. It's just destroying these cars as we do with the spec racers. I don't know. We'll see if that carries on as we get through this season. If they're going to trash the V's and the FFs and the MX5s the same way they've done these spec racers for the seemingly last 5 years, as long as I've been doing these broadcasts.
Yeah, it is something kind of unique to the Weekend Warriors, isn't it? I do a lot of different series, and this is one of the only ones there that not only does it, but encourages the burn down of the car at the end of the race, which is always fun, honestly, to let a little bit of steam off at the end for whatever reason it might be, and they're still out there just smashing into each other, having some fun. And of course, with a simulator, it's just fun to do that, as long as you don't have a DD that's too powerful and you don't have your fingers interlooped inside it or something like that. You're doing just fine out there right now. But perhaps we can get to some results here, Charles, and then we can get some interviews after that. Let me see if I can't pull up some results for you here. We'll get a good scenic blimp shot going, and here are your results from our first round here of the Weekend Warriors Summer Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's
Marco overall. Pinero. Let's get overall.
Yeah, Marco Pinero, your race winner, 18 thousandths of a second over Nate Schramm. Maurizio Nazelli finishing in third, a tenth of a second back. Jason Green finishes fourth, all by himself out there. Adrian Borowski finishing in P5. As we're switching things around again, as I'm not sure where this came from.
Can't seem to get overall up for some reason here, so we'll just do it class by class. We'll do S1 first, then S2, and then we'll do Masters. Not sure what happened there. Apologize for that.
Yeah, no problem. So Borowski finishing in fifth, Guido Marzucchi finishes in sixth, Justice in seventh, Jason Chen eighth, Tortello ninth, Michelle Lynn, your top 10, Ricardo Wernick, Chris Montgomery, Scott Russell round out your Spec 1 field, as we will now move over to Spec 2. And our Spec 2 winner, Joaquin Osbeck, great bit of driving by Joaquin today. Adam Bradshaw Jr. finishing in second. Phil Berry gets the third spot on the podium. Steve Saunders in fourth. Paul Jackson fifth. Dustin Diaz in sixth. Dennis Furia in seventh. Jason Grider in eighth. Hugh Simpkins ninth. Dan Wood finishing in 10th. And Jeff Jacobson rounds out your Spec 2 field. As we come to the Masters class, Rich Meesters, your Masters class winner today over Jorg Monty, finishing in second. That gap opened up a little bit there at the end. Jim Brewster finishes in third. Tom Gradwell fourth. Brad Cathcart fifth. Jeff Wubker in sixth. Darren Kuhn in seventh. Charlie Vaccaro in eighth. Kurt Nunez in ninth. Adam Bradshaw in 10th, Stevie Ray 11th, Chris Thorpe in 12th, and Nick Tullo did not take the start, will classified as 13th in the Masters field. And those are your race results there. The Nun ones, okay, that's a new one. So
not sure what that is.
Not sure what that is either, but I'm sure Guido will be happy that he's on the top of that board, whatever that board is. So we do have some interviews. So let's bring in, we have our race winner. We have our P2 finisher in Nate Schramm. So let's bring him in and have a chat with Nate today. Great bit of racing there up at the front of the field. So let me grab him real quick, drag him down. Nate, P2 today by 18 thousandths of a second under Marco Pinero, just ahead of Maurizio Naselli. Class of the field up there. I mean, some really, really great spec racer drivers up at the front of the field today, and you did good. We were kind of curious that you may have underfueled just a tad, but looks like you had enough to get it home and even battle at the end.
Yeah, it was a real Italian stallion herd in front of me at the start of the race with Marco, Maurizio, and Guido. But yeah, Marco and Maurizio, they always work together, and they're always super tight together. So I knew, trying to keep up with them and do the best I could with fuel saving was the key. Jason said I got the fastest pit stop of the race. So I obviously did good on that. And I actually came out of the pits with 0.45 extra laps of fuel. But with Marco and Maurizio, heading right along with each other, I knew even with that 3-second gap, it wasn't worth really trying to push anything because they were going to catch for the draft. So I kind of just slowed it down, and I was just waiting to see where I could fight them. And I was trying to break them up and try to be in the middle of them to screw up their thing. And I think I did the best that I could there. Marco just had an awesome run going down to the chicane on the last last lap there, and tried to hang it around the outside, and just didn't quite have enough of a run.
Yeah, and that was a really, really great battle there at the end. Do you feel like when they came in together on lap 15 for their pit stop, and you stay on a couple extra laps, you feel like that might have hurt you just a little bit because, or maybe had to change your pit strategy just a little bit because obviously running out there by yourself is not going to be nearly as fast as running in a pack. Do you feel like that may have cost you a little bit of time during the course of the race?
Thought about it, but when they're working together, the draft is so strong here that I was able to just lift a couple times and they were able to catch right up. So I don't think I would have been able to make up any time because we would have been battling either way if I'd pitted at the same time as them. So I think it's a bit of a wash.
Yep. So next week we have a new car and a new track for this series. So we're coming up as our summer series. We're going to rotate around. So what are your thoughts about the series in general with so many different specialists? They're going to be competing here. Obviously names like Tortola, who is just fantastic. Guido, Marzuki, very, very great drivers in the Formula V. So at some point you're going to be off of something you're not necessarily as familiar with, and going into a race where you've got guys that are going to be quite a bit quicker and a little more knowledgeable of the cars.
Yeah, definitely. The spec racer is my bread and butter. So both the Formula cars and the MX-5 are definitely out of my comfort zone. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for all of those. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good change up for the summer here, and it's a good challenge. It's really going to emphasize who is the most adaptable drivers. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, absolutely. So Nate, congratulations on your P2, and we'll let you give any thanks or shout outs and let you go celebrate your podium.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for doing the broadcasting. As always, slow motion broadcasting is fantastic. I'd like to thank the league for putting this on. Stevie and the guys really, I think, have really came up with an awesome concept for this summer here, so really looking forward to it. I'd like to thank my team, Three Oceans Racing, and our sponsors, Turner Machine Development and Gager & Sons Power Systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Right, that is Nathaniel Schramm, P2 finisher today. And Josh, who you got to do the interview?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll bring down Rich Meesters. I believe he was P2 in Masters, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can't grab him here while I do some production stuff as well. And actually, you know what? It looks like he actually did win Masters, did he not?
Yeah, we're gonna see it right here as we get the replay of the finish.
Bring him down here, and we're gonna get a replay of the finish while he's in the booth with us here. Did you win today, Masters, or did you win Masters? You won Masters today. Great job out there, Rich. That was a good job with, a good race with Yorgamani out there today. One of our stalwarts of the Weekend Warriors here, and you were able to best him today. So good job.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. No, a lot of fun with Jorg. I got a little bit lucky. I think Adam Bradshaw Jr. had a bit of a spin I had to lift, and Jorg ran out of fuel. So it was that just down to those little things at the end.
Yeah, the fuel, oh, is the bane of my existence,
Yeah.
Rich. I'm sure you've seen me out there racing close, and then all of a sudden I'm gone, and that's generally due to fuel. But yeah, it's a pretty fun one here. We have a bit of a interesting prospect of this season. Of course, we're going to be doing a few different types of machinery in the FVs and the FFs, and as well as the MX5s. Are you going to be joining us for some of those rounds as well?
For sure. Yeah, I haven't raced the V in forever. I've raced the 1600 and the MX5 with the Alameda Racing Academy as well, so it gives me a bit of experience with them. But the V, it's been a long time, but we'll see. It should be fun.
Yeah, excellent. It's going to be interesting to see, some drivers that we haven't seen in the other machinery, and hopefully that will cross-pollinate things a little bit for when we do come back for Season 4 and split back into our various seasons again. But Road Atlanta, not an easy track. It's one of those ones kind of seems easy on paper, but when you get out there, it's such a fast, power hungry track with so much drafting. It's just difficult to find your place and then and race. And there's passing zones out there, but you really do have to line them up. Is this one of your kind of favorite tracks there, or is this one you like to see in the rearview mirror?
I actually enjoy it. I think when I learned it initially, when I was new to iRacing, it felt like I was wrestling an alligator trying to drive it. But a lot of fun. I think I got a bit lucky. I had to pit early because of a little bit of front end damage, and I managed to come out behind Thor and Adam Bradshaw Jr. and just stayed in their draft and just kind of kept along for quite a bit. So it was really lucky coming out of the pits to have someone to draft with. But yeah, it's very important on this track. You have to have a draft.
Yeah, absolutely. The SRFs being that sort of ebb and flow back and forth that we have to play out there every week, and on these really draft heavy tracks like this one, it makes things that much more difficult. But it looks like, I believe the next round is going to be FVs at Olton Park, which is always a really good race. We have had some absolutely amazing races around Olton Park in the FV, in the SRF, and in the FF, actually, now that I think about it. So that should be a pretty good one. Are you looking forward to that? Get some practice in before then, or how are you gonna approach that?
We'll
one?
see. It'll be interesting. It's going to be that really short layout as well, right? Where you come down the hill and go. I guess the Foster's layout or whatever it is, where you come down the hill and then you're immediately going right again. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I haven't driven the V in forever, so it'll be a bit of a learning experience. I'll have to get out and do some practice this week.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you for the rest of the season. Great win today in Masters around Road Atlanta. Is there anybody you'd like to thank here before we let you go?
I thank my sponsors, Cool Camel Racing, and thanks to you guys, obviously, for putting this on. I think the summer's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Yeah, we us too. We're looking forward to it for sure, and hopefully we'll see you back up in the booth, Rich. Have a good week.
All right, you too.
Thanks. Right on.
That was Rich Meester's our Masters class winner. We're going to bring down old buddy Jim Brewster. We'll save Guido for last, so
Sure.
We'll bring him in at the end. But we'll bring Jim in, finished third in the Masters class. We'll drag him down. Jim, so congrats on the P3 in the Masters class today. Good bit of racing out there. I saw you out there kind of in the middle of a hornet's nest. It was a nice like 6 or 7 car pack that you guys were just battling from start to finish.
Well, really, I was just hanging on the tail of Rich Meesters and Josh Justice. I knew they're faster. I'm not a very good in the surf, so this is a really, really good finish. I'm really going to go out and celebrate this here. And I don't like Road Atlanta very much at all. Those blind turn 3 and turn 7 and curb hopping is not my cup of tea. But I just was really thrilled. I did practice. It's nice to only have one race for the weekend, so I did practice a little more. And we did the Formula V Friday night, party. With the surf, and so I got lots of practice. And you ready for this? I hope you're sitting down. I actually practice pit stops. I hate pit stops with a passion. I complain to Stevie every time I get a chance to talk to him, but I practiced them this week and I didn't screw it up. But anyway, I hope the show was good. Hi Tam, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah,
and I'm just thrilled. That's a way better result than I usually get in a surf.
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to your bread and butter next week, the Formula V's at Olton Park. So obviously, Olton, fantastic racetrack, and that's going to be fun.
We're using the truncated version, so this is sort of the drunk monkey Olton.
But what we weren't expecting chicanes anyway, so it's.
But remember, this is that cut through has big bumpy curves on the inside and then polka dot curves on the outside. So I think all of our incidents next week will be between those two curves. So it's this
keep her in between the bumpies and the polka
yeah.
dots. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right, turn 2 is much easier than normally is. Right, turn 2 is normally very challenging there, and in this configuration, it's almost a straightaway. But then you have to hit the brakes and get in there and miss the curbs. Anyway, but it'll be great. But it'll be interesting to see how many of the surf guys show up and how well they do in Formula V's.
Yeah, I'm actually, that's kind of what I'm thinking as well. It's like
excited.
I'd love to see Marco Pinheiro out there in the Formula V and see what he can do. So,
it's going to be embarrassing to us.
Yeah. Nate Schramm said he was going to be there next week. So we got one of your fast guys in the surfs are going to be in the FV. So Jim, we'll let you. Obviously, you've already said hey to Tam, so we'll say hi to Tam as well. And but we'll let you give any other things.
I hate to just burst anybody's bubble, but these surf guys are very fast.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the truth of the matter. They're stupid fast. Anyway, have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, you too, Jim. Thank you, sir, for stopping in. And that is Jim Brewster, P3 in the Masters today, and one of our admins in the Formula V series. So he'll be licking his chops to give Meisters and Monty a run for their money next week. And one more, and I guess we can bring him in, Josh, and have a chat with a guy who we only hear when we're on Italian tracks to do the lap guide. I think he ended up finishing 6th in the race today, or 7th. Guido Marzucchi.
6th or 7th? Yeah, I think 7th.
Yeah. So Guido, welcome in. We'll let Josh do the interview, and but welcome in. Good race today, Guido, in your first time in the spec racers as I've seen.
Yeah, it was not the first time in the car. I raced, I think, by hand. I don't know, you can count it on one hand. The times that I raced these cars. I get in the draft party Friday night, so I practiced a bit. I got a very good setup from JG2, Jason, so kudos to him. And I was extremely surprised of being P3 at the start after qualifying, but I had the perfect lap with the perfect draft. I didn't belong there, but it was nice to see 3 Italians in the first 3 spots. that was really, really nice.
Now, you know what? Actually, you're showing American right now on our timing screen. I'm going to try to toggle that, and you're Italian again. There we go. All is right in the world.
Okay.
There you are.
And,
keep going. Yep.
So I knew that I would drop a bit. I was just happy to be able to hang with the big boys in their draft for a few laps. I was sweating. I'm completely sweat right now, so I have to go take a shower because it was really physically consuming to hang with there. I had a good finish, no drama, no crashes, a few X's because I was pushing too much just to try to stay with them. But it was a fun race, very fun experience. I got lucky to be in that fast pack, so I could drop the cars behind and have a enjoyable race. Enjoyable race. It was really funny. Next week we will go back to my bread and butter, so I will be more comfortable with that.
Yeah, next week with the V's, and then of course, a few different types of machinery there throughout the season. You're going to be joining us. I know we'll have you up in the booth here, probably doing some production there at some point as well. But are you going to be able to make most of the other races? Are you looking forward to this season? We talked to a couple other drivers there, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see some SRF guys over in the V's and some V guys in the SRFs, and this could actually be a pretty cool prospect going forward here. So, what do you think about that?
It will be fun. I don't know how many races I will race. As you said, I will be on track or in the production hauler. So I don't know how many. I'm not looking to anything about the championship or things like that. I
Just out there for fun. Yeah, it was a good result today, man. Very,
yeah,
very well
it's
done. Good quality session there
it's-
for sure.
Yeah, I'm here for the fun, to have good races and to possibly race with cars that I usually don't race on. So
Yeah, it's been a while.
it will be fun. I'm not looking at the end of season results. I'm just looking race by race, and we will see how we will be at the end. But no ambitions, no plans. Not
Cool.
about that.
Yeah, sometimes you
So,
get your best
okay.
results that way in my experience. Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
I was going to say, as the broadcaster, I'm going to tell the two producers, wrap it up. We got to go.
Yep, it's time to go. Time. Yeah, I was just gonna say, actually, it is time for the thank yous. Is there anybody out there you'd like to thank before we let you go there, Guido?
As usual, Stevie and all the admins of the Weekend Warriors, all the community, they're great. And this community, today we were 34 on track. It was a great. It was great to see so many people on track. And to Team Ginetto. I'm under Team Ginetto name this season. No more fart car. So
More fart car,
this
yeah.
season, yeah, this season Team Ginetto all the way. So Forza Team Ginetto.
Excellent, Guido. Right on, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming in the booth there. Good racing today, and we'll see you next week in the V's, man. Have a good one.
Yeah. See ya. Bye bye.
Take care, Guido.
Right on. Well, that was Guido Marzucci, and you know what? I think that's probably going to be all the time we have here. We are a little bit over time. We'll get a couple upcoming shows in here in the next little bit. We do have Sim Racers Group returning on Tuesday to Mexico. Then, of course, the F3s. I'll be on in the booth for that one, talking with Ron on Wednesday nights. That'll be my first full season just in the booth without touching any control, so that one's kind of exciting for me as well. And then we get our first round of Street Nights racing at Watkins Glen, which will be a pretty awesome one. That's another in-house sim center, so people actually sitting beside each other in the sim center racing. Been practicing for weeks leading up to this. Should be a really good one. Then of course we're back with the Sim Racers Group and American Muscle Series starting up on July 7th, Charles. But that's pretty much going to wrap up our show today. I'll let you maybe get some thanks out here. Any final words you'd like to say, and we'll wrap her up, man.
Yeah, just thanks again to Race Voice. Go fast with the speed of voice, racevoice.com. Thank you so much for the sponsorship today. Once again, if you're looking to sponsor a race here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, especially for the Ray eSports Series, you can contact Stevie Ray, or you can contact us here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. We'll get you to Stevie, and we'll get you out there, and we'll cut you a good deal. And always good to have as much sponsorship. We want all these races broadcast, and we can't do it without sponsors like Race Voice and some of our drivers as well. So thank you very much, Josh, for the help keeping me straight as always with the production work. I'm Charles Boshell. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you same internet time, same internet channel, Slow Motion Broadcasting on YouTube. Thank you so much. Until next time, so long.